next workshop that we're going to have is going to be about fear. And there will be a person who I truly admire, who is one of the best motivational speakers in the world. He will guide you through a motivational journey that will help you find this inner courage within you, so fear has no more power over you. The motivational session itself will be transformational workshop. And as you listen, try to be conscious of how you feel, because this feeling that you're going to feel inside, that's your true power. And Mr. Rico, that I'm going to promote to be a panelist right now, is going to help you find this inner lion that will help you roar and face any fears that you might have. After this workshop, after this motivational workshop, you will feel a different person. So, Mr. Rico, I'm promoting you to panelist, and as he is joining as panelist, I will share a little bit about him. Rico Sharp is a motivational speaker, life coach, business consultant, and leadership trainer with over 33 years of experience. He empowers individuals, teams, and organizations to overcome adversity, discover their value, and elevate performance. Rico's expertise in resilience, customer service, and interpersonal development has made him a sought-after keynote speaker for corporate and educational events. He helps businesses align their teams with company goals, fostering greater success and teamwork. Through his company, Rico Sharp Motivations, he offers practical and impactful messages that inspire lasting change. Rico, it's an honor to have you here, sir. Welcome. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, DeJohn. Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity. Hats off to all of the speakers who have laid out their expertise for the world to embrace. I know it's been a powerful and pleasant time to be able to receive such talent, gifts, information, and everything that has come to help us to live free. I am honored to be a part of this Superhuman Summit 2024, and I consider it to be a pleasure. Once again, DeJohn, thank you so much for all that you're doing for the world. I'm Rico Sharp, and I am here today to speak to you on the subject of fear. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about because so many people live with fear in their life, or sometimes on a subtle basis and other time on an obnoxious basis. Many people haven't used that word in a long time, but many people have fear that is built up in their life as a prison. And I want to talk to you today about being free from fear. And the first thing I want to do is start out with giving you the definition to the word fear. Fear is a distressing apprehension aroused by the perception of impending danger, whether the danger or the threat is real or imagined. Oftentimes it's only imagined, but yet the power and the effects of it, although it's imagined, it's real. It feels like it's right here. It's an apprehension, right? It is the condition of being afraid and the dread that something unpleasant will occur in one's life. Fear is an hindrance and torment that limits one's opportunity for better and imprisons as well as encapsulates. Fear is a prison, ladies and gentlemen. And whenever someone lives with fear in their lives, they are a prisoner inside of their own prison. Now, so I want to talk to you about being fearless, right? Free from fear is what fearless means. Number two, fearless means to live unafraid of the unknown. The third definition for the word fearless is not controlled by things or conditions that are uncertain. Number four, the definition for the word fearless means not worried or disturbed by the unseen future. That's important because a lot of people's fear is hinged upon the unknown, things that have not yet happened yet, oftentimes relating to the future. Not worried or disturbed by the unseen future. We had an election last week in America, and for some people, things didn't go the way they wanted it to go. And they have this apprehension and this fear about what the next 4 years is going to be like. And that's worrying about the unseen future. I simply say Don't worry about anything that's beyond your control. Focus on your world, your personal world, your inner world, your family, your business, your career, your life, and what you can control. Then embrace that. What you can't control, release that. But the last thing you want to do is stress and fret and worry and become perplexed in your mind over things you have no control over. That's a fear. Fear means to have to imprison you and to have control over the way you think, over your actions, over the things that you do, over your choices and the decisions that you make. But to be fearless means to have total trust and confidence in God or whoever your higher power is, or the universe, or whatever you find to be befitting. Is having trust that you are going to be kept, that you're going to be taken care of, and that all things are going to work together in your favor. Now, I want to give you a couple of steps here to help you to be fearless or free from fear. And I'm going to have some fun with this, all right? I'm going to dig deep into this, and we're going to be quite motivational here in my delivery. But the first thing is that I want you to confess your fears. Confess means to acknowledge the presence of your fears, right? Some people think that conquering their fear is relegated by denying or living in denial of their fears. But that's not true, ladies and gentlemen. You can't exercise dominion over something that you continue to tell yourself does not exist. But yet in your heart and mind, you know it does. So in order for you to have victory over fear and to be free from fear and to be fearless, you got to first confess. Yes, I do have fears. Yes, I am afraid. Yes, I fear that this will happen. Yes, I fear that this may take place in my life. You got to put it out there. In order to conquer it, you got to first confess it. All right. You have to be willing to embrace your reality. Fear is not conquered by living in denial. All denial does is delay the process of you coming out of the thing or the prison that fear has built in your life. Now, the thing or the person or the entity or the outcome or the circumstance, whatever you fear, it does exist, right? It's out there. That fear is real. It's not just in your mind. It's out there. It does exist out there. But what happens is that when we begin to fear, we send a subpoena to what is out there, and then we begin to subpoena and summon it, that it come into our life as a reality, that it becomes a manifestation. But what we want to do is confess that we have this fear and begin exercising the process to keep whatever is out there far away out there, somewhere in the galaxy, right? Somewhere in the Milky Way, but far away from the shores of our life. All right. Fear has been stated that it's a prison. It's like a mental incarceration. You don't have to be physically in jail or physically in prison to live in a prison. Fear incarcerates you. Fear limits you. Fear becomes an apprehension, something that deprives you of your inner peace, your inner happiness, your ability and your mobility to move forward and accomplish your dreams and aspiration. So when you fear, you are living within the restrained area of life. You're being condensed and minimized and reduced to what some people consider to be ashes, right? Which means all the way down to barely nothing. Now, I want to tell you this quick story. Here's this guy who's walking home from work. And every time he gets to a certain place, there's this dog in this fence that comes running out of the fence. And it comes out of the yard and starts chasing after this man. And this man begins to run, terrified, petrified, fearing that this dog, which is a pit bull, is going to catch up with him and bite him, attack him. Every day, the same time, the same thing. It's like this dog is waiting on this man. And so he runs every single time. One particular time he fell and he hurt himself. And then he got up. And then When he got up, he ran to the house and wow, wiped the sweat off. He escaped. The dog didn't get him. The dog didn't bite him. He lived another day. And so the next day he determined if this dog comes charging out of this fence, run through this yard, and comes after me, this time I'm going to pick up a stick and defend myself. And so he goes home, and just as is held true all the other days, here comes this dog charging out of the fence, running through the yard, and as fast as it can, barking and pursuing after the man. This time the guy stopped. He has this stick. He turns around. He gets ready to hit the dog. But yet when the dog gets closer, he looks at the dog and realizes that the dog has no teeth in his mouth. He's barking at the man, but he has no teeth. He has a bark, but he doesn't have a bite. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how fear is. Fear has a bark, but it has no teeth. And the thing that we fear, we allow for it to drive us to a place where it will literally imprison us and run us and drive us insane, not realizing all along that it has a bark, but it doesn't have a bite. You see, I was that man running from that dog, terrified of that dog. And I fell down and hurt myself one day, trying to get away from that dog. And finally, I realized this dog is really not a threat to me as in a physical way, but it was a threat to me in my mind. That dog and the fear of that dog biting me made me hurt myself more than the dog itself. And that's what fear would do to you. Fear will cause for you to hurt yourself. Fear will cause for you to do things that you normally would not do, to act in a way that you normally would not act. And so the thing that you do is you have to acknowledge, yes, okay, all right, let's be real. Let's be true to myself. I have fears in my life, right? But I am going to confess and acknowledge that this fear is here. But now it's time for me to do number two, which is take control of my fears. How do I control my fears? Well, I begin by confronting my fears. The word confront means to meet face to face. I had to meet that dog face to face. I confront my fears. And when I confront my fear, you know what I'm doing? I'm now challenging my fear. I'm looking it in the eye and I'm saying to it, I'm no longer running from you. I'm looking my fear in the eye and I'm saying to it, I'm no longer afraid of you. I'm looking my fear in the eye and